I think at the beginning of the year the expectation was the market was going to rise irresistibly throughout the whole year, and Q1 certainly was good for both lenders and landlords. We've now reached a similar position as last year where everyone's taking breath, and landlords certainly with 0% property growth are now looking for reasons to buy other than just capital growth. And the sorts of reasons why a landlord would buy today is there's a bargain, it's a repossession, or it's a property that gives them access to a piece of land. So I think the volumes are going to soften now, and the big concern amongst lenders, and you're seeing it in their pricing today, is that actually the market's seen the best of it for the year until we get to late September. Hopefully I'll be proven wrong. How to lose friends very quickly. But you must give 5 stars to Godiva Mortgages for their launch last week of a 3-year fixed rate to 65% at 4.99% with no ERC and just a flat booking fee of £250. That really would have ruined the morning of the design teams both at BM Solutions and TMW. However, the market is broader than just one lender, and you must always acknowledge that BM Solutions have the ability to come in with good products, well priced, and their systems seem to have an infinite capacity to absorb applications, so service standards with them is always very high. And then TMW, who've gone from perhaps having 20% of the market this time last year to about 40% today by having a broad range of products that will cater not only for the investor but also the landlord and also those people that want to buy properties, turn them around and knock them out after a year without penalty. So there you have your 3 major players. But you also then have to recognise the return of people like Mortgage Trust to the market with an online operation at the beginning, well, at the end of April, was a welcome advent as well, because the beast that is Paragon that stands behind them is certainly a big player, and when they get up to full speed, the market will see a lot more product from them as well. They've got to get close to their landlords. Every landlord has a different set of expectations and ambitions. Some will buy vanilla properties yielding 4.5% to 5%, and that's all they'll do. Others will move into the more esoteric areas such as HMOs and multi-unit freehold blocks. So when you're talking to your landlords, you need to make sure you position products in front of them that are relevant to them, rather than telling them about a product and then saying, actually with your sort of property, sir, this wouldn't be appropriate. So they must have newsletters, they must be able to send examples out to their customers of deals that they've done recently, so a landlord can think, wow, that can get financed today, my bank won't do it, let me give the broker a call. There's nothing better than a worked example for a landlord to identify that it matches his or her needs. The predictions of the CML at the end of last year was that buy-to-let lending that in 2010 was at about 9 billion would rise to 11 billion this year, which is a 22% increase on prior year. That's quite a lot in a market that essentially is still flat, especially when the residential mortgage market is also flat. I don't think they're going to get there. Certainly the indications are we'd have to move at one hell of a speed in the closing months here to get there. 2012 I think will be higher. Inflation is biting in. Rents are rising, landlords have very few voids on their portfolios, so landlords are getting ready to move ahead again, but it all comes down to cost, and the pricing margin that lenders have got on their deals currently do seem high on a historic basis. The average back book price for a lender is somewhere between 4 to 4.5% over cost of funds, and that simply is too high on a long-term basis for most landlords. It's when they step out of a vanilla buy-to-let into the more exotic areas of an HMO or a freehold premises made up of several flats. Yes, it's attractive because the loans are much larger, but actually most of these can't be catered with the normal buy-to-let lenders, and you end up with commercial lenders. So if a broker identifies a deal in that sector, they might be able to find a bank that might or might not do it. But what they should do is hook up with a specialist broker who will share the earnings with them and make sure they get the deals done. If I give you an example that the average buy-to-let according to the CML is a loan of 120,000, but the average HMO loan that goes through my offices approaches £450,000, you can get an idea that there's plenty of dollars on the table to make it worth the while of the broker to identify a transaction, but then find someone else who can transact it for them and ensure their client gets the best terms. And more importantly, that the loan actually completes. Because on commercial transactions, they're never quite straightforward, and there's a lot more work that has to go into the whole process.